Yeah, definitely get with the King Jelly Bean. He's almost at 1,000. You know how that's like underrated dark. Yeah, definitely get with the King Jelly Bean. He's almost at 1,000.
Hold on.
You know how that's like underrated dark. Yeah, definitely get.
Good evening, family. Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. I am the one and only, the underrated one, the grinder. Thanks for coming. Let's check out the link. We're gonna wait for some more people to fill up here. All right. And got another one. Underrated music talk, Duke Ellington, jazz innovator, the late great Edward Kennedy, Duke Ellington. Read about him in a few. We're gonna wait for some more people to come in. And hold on, family. No. Wait for some more people to come in. Get filled up.
About you.
Yeah, wait for some more people to come in. So we can get this going. Shout out to She Stay Sleep. Y'all have to check out. He did two powerful live streams. And while I'm waiting for some more people. Positive Side of Dark. Thank you so much. I'm gonna pull hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell what She Stay Sleep did. What he did, what he talked about earlier. He's on Black History Month. Let's eat with Najee. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that. He did one of Carter G. Woodson, the father. They pull it up. Father of Black History Month. Check that out. That was powerful. Anybody don't even know. This is our history. Carter G. Woodson. Check him out. I'm telling y'all, he got us alone. He got a encyclopedia. Okay, that's the first one She Stay Sleep did, and plus he did another. Let me pause this. What's going on? Let me pause this, and also he did this one. Thomas L. Jennings, father of dry cleaning. Let me repeat that. Thomas L. Jennings, father of dry cleaning. Y'all need to check this information out because it's not being heard on this certain sector of YouTube. Okay, so I want y'all to check those two out. All right, Carter G. Wilson, Thomas L. Jennings, and check it out. That's from She Stay. So go to his channel, She Stay Sleep TV, and that's where you're gonna find it. Let me see. Let me pause this. Now, in a few minutes, I know it's gonna be said. Some people know about this person. The late great Edward Kennedy Duke Eillington, but majority of y'all don't. But y'all gonna learn tonight. Y'all gonna learn tonight. He is a giant. He's one of the founders that helped build up popular music of all stages. This is the person that almost wrote close to he almost composed almost 3,000 songs in his career. All right. Let me repeat that again. He almost composed close to 3,000 songs in his career. Okay? I don't want that to marinate in your heads. And he did this in trying times. The late, great Edward Kennedy, the Duke Eillington. But we're going to wait for some more people to comment. Also, let me go pull. You see the link in there. I do have a PayPal link, PayPal account. If y'all please, if y'all want to donate, that if y'all want to donate, please do. If not, hit the like button. All right, there's a link right there. So any of the mods, you see the link. Y'all can please post it out throughout the chat. That'd be very much appreciated. The link is right up in the piece. So like I said, if y'all want to donate, please do. The link right there. Had a PayPal account. All right. So we're going to wait for some more people to come in because I wanted it to be kind of full and everything. So this is going to be good tonight. Let me read everybody out. Gypsy Heart, thanks for coming. My brother, as always, She Stay Sleep TV. Positive Side of Dark Day. Thanks for coming. Muhammad's the one. He didn't mean to do that positive of dark. He didn't mean. Muhammad's the one. You got to straighten out your phone, bro. That was a mistake. Positive Side of Dark. Got to straighten out your phone, bro. Straighten out your phone. Muhammad's the one. Welcome. Waiting for some more people to come in. I'm glad everybody's showing up. That'd be very much appreciated. To wait for some more people to pull up and oh, let me pull up. I want y'all to check out Men's Talk from last night. It was very powerful. I'm gonna post that right now. Check out Men's Talk. Oh shit. Okay. Put the link in there. Very much appreciated. Check that out. Wait for some more people. Filled up. Again, the Underrated Music Talk. Duke Ellington, Jazz Innovator. But everybody is doing all right. What's going on? What's going on, Monique? How you feel, sweetie? How you doing? Glad to show up. Waiting for some more people to get up in this piece. Gonna read about the late great Edward Kennedy, the Duke Ellington, Jazz Innovator, one of the founders of popular music. The ones who came here before he passed away in 1974, he composed close to 3,000 songs. Wait for some people to come in. I know sometimes YouTube be slow, so you're gonna give at least a few more minutes. Then we gonna get this cracking. Yeah, whoever come in, hit the like button. Whoever come, y'all come in. As soon as you get in, hit the like button. All right, let's get the announcement out the way while we waiting. Again, welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Tonight, another one of the underrated music talk. Duke Ellington. Hit the bell. Make sure that bell is lit. When I come with that powerful live stream or video, share the stream, please, throughout social media. That'd be very much appreciated. And the ones that I did in the past. Also, I have the link. I have a PayPal account. If anybody that wants to donate, feel free. That'd be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to keep in contact with me, I gotta put it in the description. I'm gonna do that real soon. Yours truly, Jerry Thomas. That's my Facebook page. Also, my Facebook group is all in caps. JTNVP, thinking for ourselves. Also in capitals, I have a Twitter account at JT Blackman44, lower caps, same name as the YouTube channel, but it's lower caps, The Underrated Darkness. I will be put some work in Twitter and in Instagram very soon. So also watch out for that. Okay? But most of my stuff that I have is on Twitter, but I gotta post some more stuff on Instagram. So watch out for that very soon. Big things is happening for the underrated one. So we gonna wait for some more people to come in. Okay. Let's get this out the way. Let me get this out the way while we waiting. Glad you're being patient. Wait, some people coming. We'll wait. Like I said, I probably wait by a few more minutes. Ain't gonna be that long. Then I will start reading about the late great Edward Kennedy Duke Ellington. A great. Trust me, family. He's one of the greats that is not that many people had talked about. Also, he's a band leader for a long time. Well, we're gonna read. We're gonna get it on right now. Welcome, family, to the Underrated Music Talk. Another great jazz innovator. Here it is. Edward Kennedy Duke Ellington was an American composer, pianist, and leader of a jazz orchestra which led from Check this out, family. From 1923 until his death, over career span more than 50 years. He was born April 29th, 1899 in Washington, D.C. Passed away May 20th, 1974, like I said. Education, Armstrong High School. Now we're going to read about the late great. I already read that part. Okay. And his other composer that worked for years was Billy Strayhorn. And most likely I'm gonna do a story about him too. Most likely very, very soon. So watch out for that. Born in Washington, D.C., Ellington was based in New York City from the mid 1920s onward and gained a national profile through his orchestra appearance at the Cotton Club in Harlem. In the 1930s, his orchestra toured in Europe, although widely considered to have been a pivotal figure in the history of jazz. Ellington embraced the phrase beyond category as a liberating principle and referring to music as part of more general category of American music rather than a musical genre such as jazz. Genius, isn't it? Some of the jazz musicians who were members of the Eillington Orchestra, such as saxophonist Johnny Hodges, are considered to be among the best players of the album. Ellington melded them into the best known orchestra unit in the history of jazz. Some members stayed with the orchestra for several decades. A master of writing miniature for a 3-minute semi-8 RPM recording format. Ellington wrote more than 1,000 composers. His extensive body of work is the largest recorded personal legacies, and many of his pieces have become standard. I'm gonna stop right there. They say 1,000 composers. No, that is not true. Like I said, before he passed away, he had close to 3,000. That's fact. Bam family, thanks for coming. So you know why? Because I did a book report and I did 2 parts of it. Okay? With many of his pieces having become standards. Ellington also recorded songs written by his bandsmen. For example, Juan Tuzo, Calavan, Petito, which brought a Spanish thing to big band in the early 1940s. Ellington began a nearly 30-year collaboration and composer, arranger, pianist Billy Strayhorn. I believe he passed away in 67, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he did. Okay. Whom he called his writing and arranged companion. With Strayhorn, he composed many extensive composers or suites, as well as additional short pieces. Following an appearance at the Newport Jazz Festival, that's in Rhode Island, in July 1956. Ellington and his orchestra enjoyed a major revival and embarked on world tours. Ellington recorded for most American record companies of his era, performing several films, scored several, and composed a handful of stage musicians. Ellington was noted for his inventive use of the orchestra or big band and his elegance and charisma. His reputation continued to rise after he died, and he was awarded a posthumous Pulitzer Prize Special Award for Music in 1999. And I don't understand why they did not give it to him while he was living. That's how they do our people, to our melanin people. They always want to give us awards when we go. And again, before I continue, he helped bring jazz to popular music. Wow. Early life. Ellington was born April 29, 1889 to James Edward Ellington and Daisy Kennedy Ellington in Washington, D.C. Both of his parents were pianists. Daisy primarily played Paulo songs and James preferred operating arias. They lived with his maternal grandparents at 2129 Ida Place, now Ward Place in parentheses, Northwest in the West End neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Duke's father was born in Lincoln, North Carolina on April 15, 1879, and moved to Washington, D.C. in 1886 with his parents. Daisy Kennedy was born in Washington, D.C. on January 4th, 1879, the daughter of a former American slave. James Ellington made blueprints for the United States Navy. That's interesting. I remember that. When Ellington was a child, his family showed racial pride and support in their home, as did many other families. African Americans in D.C. worked to protect their children from an era of Jim Crow laws. At the age of 7, Ellington began taking piano lessons from Marita Cleanscales. Daisy surrounded her son with dignified women to reinforce his manner and teach him to live elegantly. Ellington's childhood friend noticed that his casual, offhand manner, his easy grace, and his dapper dressing gave him the bearing of the young notable man and began calling him Duke. Wow, his friend gave him the name Duke, y'all. That's impressive. Ellington credited his friend Edgar Entry for the nickname. I think he felt that in order for me to be eligible for my constant companionship, I should have a title. So he called me Duke. Though Ellington took piano lessons, he was more interested in baseball. President Roosevelt, Teddy would come by on his horse sometimes and stop and watch us play. He recalled Ellington went to Armstrong Technical High School in Washington, D.C. He gained his first job selling peanuts at the Washington Senators baseball game. That was Washington. That was one of the earliest baseball teams in Major League Baseball at the time. One of the earliest. In the summer of 1914, while working as a soda jerk at the Poodle Dog Cafe, Ellington wrote his first composition. Now I want y'all to hear this, family. Soda Fountain, Rags, in parentheses, also known as the Poodle Dog Rag. He created a piece by ear as he had not yet learned to read and write music. I will play the Soda Fountain Rags as one step, two step, waltz, tango, and foxtrot. Ellington recalled, listen, never knew it was the same piece. I established as having my own repertoire. In his autobiography, Music is My Mistress, 73, Ellington wrote that he missed more lessons than he attended, feeling at the time that playing piano was not his talent. Ellington started sneaking into Frank's Holiday pool room at the age of 14, hearing the pool room pianist play ignite Ellington's love for the instrument, and he began to take his piano lessons students seriously. Among many piano players he listened was Doc Perry, Lester Dishman, Louis Brown, Turner Layton, Gertrude Wells, Clarence Bowser, Sticky Mac, Blind Johnny, Cliff Jackson, Claude Hopkins, Fear Ward, Cat Carolyn Thornton, Lucky Roberts, Marie Blake, Joe Rochester, and Harvey Brooks. And I think the names in the blue, if I'm not mistaken, they must be jazz legends or they must be elected to the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure, but I'll check that out. Ellington began to watch and imitate ragtime pianists not only in Washington D.C. but in Philadelphia and Atlantic City. He also vacationed with his mother during the summer months. He would sometimes hear strange music playing. Those who could not afford much sheet music. Let me see. Why they cross that out? Okay, sheet music. And so for various, they play sheet music upside down. Henry Lee Grant, a Dunbar High School music teacher, gave him private lessons in harmony with the additional guidance of Washington pianist and bandleader Oliver Doc Perry. Ellington learned to read sheet music, project a professional style, and improve his technique. Ellington also inspired by his first encounter with stride pianist James P. Johnson and Lucky Roberts. Later in New York, he took advice from Will Marion Cook, Fats Walker, one of the greats, and Sidney Bechet, one of the greats too. Ellington started to play gigs in cafes and clubs and in and around Washington, D.C. His attachment to music was so strong that in 1960 he turned down an art scholarship at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. 3 months before he graduated, he dropped out of Armstrong Manual Training School, where he studied commercial arts. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming. Haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome. Working as a freelance sign painter from 1911, Alton began cymbal groups playing for dancers. In 1919, he met drummer Sonny Green from New Jersey, who encouraged Ellington's ambition to become a professional musician. Ellington built his music business through his day job. When a customer asked him to make a sign for a dance or party, he would ask if they had musical entertainment. If not, Ellington would offer to play for the occasion. He also had messenger jobs in the U.S. Navy and State Department, where he made wide range of contacts. Ellington moved out of his parents' home and brought his own as he became a successful pianist. At first, he played other cymbals, and in late 1917, he formed his first group, the Duke Serenade, colored Skeptials. His telephone directory advertised cocaine. He was also a group booking agent. His first play date was at the True Reformer Hall, where he took home 75 cents. Elton played throughout the Washington, D.C. area and into Virginia for private society balls and ambassador parties. The band includes childhood friend Otto Hardwick, who began playing the string bass. Then he moved to C mellow sax and finally settled into alto saxophone. Otto, Arthur Wessock on trumpet, Elmer Snowden on banjo, and Sonny Greer on drums. The band Thrive performed for both African American and white audience, rarity in the segregated society of the day. That is so true. Music career, um, early career. When the drummer, when his drummer Sonny Greer was invited to join the Wilbur Sweatman Orchestra in New York City, Ellington made a fatal decision to leave behind his successful career in Washington, D.C. and move to Harlem, untimely become part of the Harlem Renaissance. New dance craze such as the Charleston emerged in Harlem, as well as African American musical theaters included UB Break, Shuffle Along. After the young musicians left the Swayman Orchestra to strike out of their own, they found an emerging jazz scene that was highly competitive and hard to crack. They hustled pool by day and played whatever gigs they could find. The young band met stride pianist Willie the Lion Smith, who introduced them to the scene and gave them some money. They played at rent house parties for income, and a few months, young musicians returned to Washington, D.C., feeling discouraged. Thank you, always a lady. Appreciate that. In June 20, in June 1923, a gig in New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey, led to a play date at the prestigious exclusive club in Harlem. This was followed in September 1923 by the move to the Hollywood Club, 49th and Broadway, and a four-year engagement which gave Ellington a solid artistic base. He was known to play the bugle at the end of each performance. The group was I don't know why they strike. I don't know what they doing that for. He was known to play the bugle at the end of each performance. The group was initially called Elmer Snowden, and his Black Sox Orchestra had seven members, including trumpet James Bubba Miley. They renamed themselves the Washingtonians. Snowden left the group in early 1924, and Ellington took over as band leader. As a fire, the club was reopened at the Kennedy, Kentucky, in parentheses often to as a Kentucky club. Ellington made 8 records in 1924, receiving composed credits on 3, including Choo Choo. In 1925, Ellington contributed 4 songs for Chocolate Kittles, starring Lottie G and Adelaide Hall. An all African American renew, which introduced European audience to African American styles and performed. Excuse me, family. Get this out of my eyes. Okay. Duke Ellington and his Kentucky Club Orchestra grew to a group of 10 players. They developed their own sound by displaying non-tradition expressed of Ellington arrangements. The street rhymes of Harlem and the exotic sound of trombone groans and wah wah high squeaky trumpets, and social saxophone blues licked up the band members. That's impressive. For a short time, soprano saxophonist Sidney Becker played with them, in part of his percussive swinging and his superior musicalship to the young band members. All right, Cotton Club engagement. In October 1926, Ellington made an agreement with agent publisher Irving Mills. Give Mills 45% interest in Ellington's future. Mill had an eye for new talent and publishing composers by Hall Carmichael, Dorothy Fields, and Harry Arden early in their careers. After recording a handful of accused, accused titles during 1924 through 26, Ellington signed with Mill, allowed him to record profitably, prolifically, although sometimes he recorded different versions of the same tune. Mills often took a co-composer credit from the beginning of their relationship. Mills arranged recorded sessions on nearly every label, including Brunswick, Victor, Columbia, OCAT, Path. The ARC Plasma Group of labels, Orco, Domino, Jury, Banner, and their dime store labels, Cameo, Lincoln, Romeo, Hit of the Week, and Columbia cheaper labels, Harmony, Diva, Velvetone, Clarin, label which gave Ellington popular recognition. And Head, his record was usually issued as Harlem Foot Warmers, while the Brownswood was usually issued as Jungle Band. Wow. Whoopie Makers and the 10 Blackberries was other personas. That is crazy. In September 1927, King Oliver turned down a regular booking for his group as the house band at Harlem Cotton Club. The offer passed to Ellington after Jimmy McHugh suggested him and Mills arranged an audition. Ellington has increased from 6 to 7 pieces groups to meet requirement at the Cotton Club management for the audition. And the engagement finally began on December 4th with a weekend radio broadcast. The Cotton Club, exclusively white and wealthy clientele, pour out in nightly to see them. At the Cotton Club, the Ellington Group performed all the music for all reviews, which comedy, dance numbers, vaudeville, bouquet, music, and at least alcohol. The musicians' numbers was composed by Jimmy McHugh and the lyrics by Dorothy Fields, later Dorothy Harold Arlen, and Ted Kosser, with some Ellington original mix in. Here I Move In with a Dance, his second wife Mildred Dixon. Weekly radio broadcast from the radio gave Ellington national exposure, while Ellington also recorded Phil J. McHugh and Fats Walker and the Raza sounds. Although trumpet Bubba Miles was not a member of the orchestra for a short period, he had a major influence on Ellington's sound. As an early exponent of Grove trumpet, Mali changed the sweet dance band sound to a group to one of that was hotter, which contemporaries termed jungle style. In October 1927, Ellington and his orchestra recorded several compositions with Adelaide Hall. One side in particular, Creola Love Cali, which became a worldwide sensation and gave both Ellington and Hall their first hit. Molly had composed most of Creola Love Cali and Black and Tan Fantasy. An alcoholic, Molly had to lead the band before he gained wider fame. He died in 1932 at the age of 29, but he was an important influence of Cody Williams, who replaced him. Wow, that's sad. In 1929, the Cotton Club Orchestra appears on stage for several months in Florence Ziegfeld's Showgirl, along with vaudeville stars Jimmy Durant, Eddie Foy Jr., Ruby Keeler, and with music and lyrics by George Gershwin and Gus Kahn. Will Valerie, Ziegfeld musical Ziegfeld musical supervisor, recommended Ellington for the show, and according to John Hayes, beyond categories, the life and genius of Duke Ellington. Perhaps during the run Showgirls, Ellington received what he was later termed valuable lessons in orchestration from Will Watery. In his 1946 biography, Duke Ellington Barry Uleno wrote, from Valerie, as he Ellington said himself, he drew his cosmomatic convictions, his use of the tones ordinary extraneous to the diatomic scale, and the consequent alterations of the harmonic character of his music. It broadens the deepen of his resources and has become customary ascribed classical influence upon Duke, Dolores, Debussy, and Ravel to direct contact with their music. Actually, his serious appreciation of those of other modern composers came after his meeting with Valery. Ellington film work began with Black and Tan, 1929. Hold on, fam. Get back. Okay. Ellington Fields began with Black and Tan 1929, a 19-minute all African American RKO short, which he played Hero Duke. He also appeared in Amos and Andy film Check and Double Check, released in 1930. That year, Ellington and his orchestra connected with a whole different audience in concert with Marlise Clavalier, and they also performed at the Roseland Ballroom, America's foremost ballroom. Australian-born composer Percy Grainger was an early admirer and support. He wrote, "Three greatest composers who ever lived are Bach, Darius, and Duke Ellington. Unfortunately, Bach is dead. Delirious is very ill, but we happy to have us today, the Duke." Ellington, first period at the Cotton Club, conclude in 1931. The early 1930s. Ellington left the orchestra by conducting from the keyboard using piano clues and visual gestures. Was rarely did he conduct using a baton. By 1932, his orchestra consists of six brass instruments, four, four, four reeds, and a four-man rhythm section. As a band leader, Ellington was not a strict disciplinarian. He maintained control of his orchestra by a combination of charm, humor, flattery, and astute psychology. A complex private person, he reveals his feelings to only his closest inmates, and infected using his public personnel to deflect attention away from himself. Ellington signed exclusively to Brunswick in 1932 and stayed with them through late 1936, late 1936, albeit a short-lived 1933-34 switch to Victor, where Irving Mills temporarily moved him and his other acts from Brunswick. As the Depression worsens, the recording industry was in crisis, dropping over 90% in its artists in 1933. Ivy Addison was hired as Ellington Orchestra features vocalist in 1931. She is the vocalist on I Don't Mean a Thing If You Ain't Got That Swang. Yep, Ivy Anderson, 1930, 1931. 1932, among those recordings, Sonny Greer had been providing occasional vocals and continuing to do in a cross-talk features with Anderson. Radio exposure helped maintain Ellington's public profile as his orchestra began to tour. The other records of this era include Mood Indigo, 1930, Sophisticated Lady, 1932, Solitude, 1934, and in Sentimental Mood, 1935. While the band United States audience remained mainly African American in this period, the Ellington Orchestra had significant following overseas, exemplified by the success of their trip to England and Scotland in 1933 and their 1934 visit to the European mainland. The British visit saw Ellington win praise from members of the serious music music community, including composer Constance Lambert, which gave a boost of Ellington's interest in composing longer works. Those longer pieces had already begun to appear. He had composed and recorded Creole Revshot as early as 1931, issued as both sides of 12 record for Victor and both sides of 10 record for Brunswick, and a tribute to his mother, reminiscent in Temple, took a four record sides from record in 1935 after her death in that year. Wow. Symphony in Black, also 1935, a short film features his extensive piece, A Rimshot of Negro Life, is introducing Billie Holiday, and won an Academy Award as the Best Musical Short Subject. Ellington and his orchestra also appeared in the feature Murder at the Vanities and Ballet of the 90s, both 1934. For Agent Mills, the attention was publicly triumphed, as Ellington was now internationally known. As the band toured throughout the segregated South in 1934, they avoided some of the traveling difficulties of African Americans by touring in private rail cars. These provided easy accommodations, dining, and storage for equipment while avoiding amenities in segregated facilities. Competitive was intensified throughout swing bands as Billy Goodwin began to receive popular attention. Swing and dance became a youth phenomenon, particularly with the white college audience, and danceable drove record sales and bookings. Jukebox proliferate nationwide, spreading the gospel of swing. Ellington band could certainly swing, but their strength was mood, nuance, richness, and composition. Hence his statement: "Jazz is music, swing is business." Press. The later 1930s. From 1936, Ellington began to make recordings with smaller groups, Sextus, Ultra, and Knowledge. Draw from then 15-minute orchestra, and he composed pieces intended to feature a specific instrumentalist, as with Jeep Blue for Johnny Hodges, Yearning for Love for Lawrence Brown, Trumpet in Space for Rex Stewart, Echoes in Harlem for Cootie Williams, and Clarinet Lament for Barrett Bigart. In 1937, Ellington returned to the Cotton Club, which had relocated in the Midtown Theater District. In the summer of that year, his father died, and due to many expenses, Ellington's finance was tight, although his situation improved the following year. After leaving agent Irving Mills, he signed with the William Morris Agency. Mills thought continued to record Ellington after a year. His master is variety labels. Small groups had recorded for the latter. Collapsed in the late 1937. Mills placed Ellington back on Brunswick and those small groups units on Bolian through to 1940. Well-known sides continued to be recorded. Caliban in 1937, and I Let a Song Go Out of My Heart the following year. Billy Strayhorn, originally hired as a liturgist, began his association with Ellington in 1939. Named, named Sweet Pea for his mild manner, Strayhorn soon became a vital member of the Ellington organization. Ellington showed great fondness for Strayhorn and never failed to speak glowingly for the man of the collaborative working relationship. My right arm, my left arm, all the eyes, the back of my head, my brain waves in his head and in mine. Strayhorn, with his training in classical music, not only contributed to his original lyrics and music, but also arranged and polished many of Ellington's works and become second Ellington or Duke doppelganger. It was not uncommon for Strayhorn to fill in for Duke, whether in conducting or rehearsal of the band, playing the piano on stage, and in the recording studios. In 1930, ended with a very successful European tour, just as World War II looming in Europe. Some of the musicians who joined Ellington this time created sensation in their own right. Short-lived, Jimmy Blanton transformed the use of double bass in jazz, allowing at its function as a solo viola instrument rather than a rhythm instrument alone. Terminal illness forced him to leave the late like 1941. After about 2 years, Ben Webster, the orchestra first regular tenor saxophone, who main tenor with Ellington spanned from 1939 to 1943, started rival Johnny Hodges as an orchestra foremost voice in the sax section. Trumpet Ray Nance joined, replacing Cootie Williams, who had deflected to Benny Goodwin. Additionally, Nance add violin to the instrument color Ellington had at his disposal. Recording existed to Nance's first concert date on November 7, 1941, at Fargo, North Carolina, privately made by Jack Towles and Dick Burse. These recordings was first legitimately issued in 1978 as Duke Ellington at Fargo 1940 Live. They are among the earliest declamable live performances which survive. Nance was also the occasional vocalist, although Herb Jeffries was the main male vocalist in that era until 1943, while Al Hibbert, who replaced Jeffries in 1943, continued until 1951. Ivy Anderson left in 1942 for health reasons after 11 years, the longest term of any Ellington's vocalist. Once again, the recording for Victor from 1940, with small groups record for the Bluebird label. They 3-minute masterpiece on 70 RPM records side continued to flow from Ellington, Billy Strayhorn, Ellington's son Mercy Ellington, and members of the orchestra Cottontail, Mainstream, Harlem Air Shaft, Jack the Bear, and dozens of other dates from this period. Strayhorn Take the A Train, a hit in 1941. Now I'm going to stop right there. If y'all remember Harlem Nights, back then I believe that's the last film that Red Fox is on. It was Della Reese in there. I think it was the last film. Even the late Richard Pryor. And if you hear it, take to the A Train. That's the song they talk about in 1941. Let me go back reading. Became the band theme, replacing East St. Louis Tulio Ellington and his associate wrote an orchestra, a distinctive voice who displayed tremendous creativity. Mary Lou Williams worked as a staff arranger who a briefly joined Ellington a few years later. Ellington long aim thought was to extend jazz from the 3-minute limit, which it was acknowledged master, while he had composed and recorded some extended pieces before. Such works now became a regular feature of Ellington output. In this, he was helped by Strayhorn, who had enjoyed more throughout training in the forms associated with classical music than Ellington. First of these, Black, Brown, and Beige, 1943, was dedicated to tell the story of African Americans and the place of slavery and the church of their history. Black, Brown, and Beige debuted in Carnegie Hall in January 23rd, 1943. And I want to say, I'm going to stop it right here. At that time, it was unheard of any black acts was going in Carnegie Hall in the way they were segregated. Okay, I want to throw that in. Beginning an annually series of Ellington concerts at the venue over the next 4 years. While some jazz musicians had played at Carnegie Hall. Before none has performed anything as elaborate as Ellington works unfortunately started a regular pattern. Ellington long works was not well received. Wow. A particle a partial exception was Jump for Joy, a full length of music on themes of African American identity, debuted on July 10, 1941 at the Mayer Theater in Los Angeles. Hollywood luminaries such as actors John Garfield and Mickey Rooney invest in the production, and Charlie Chaplin and Orson Welles offered to direct. At one performance due Garfield insists Herbie Jeffries, who was light-skinned, should wear makeup. Ellington object in the interval and compared Jeffries to Al Jolson. The change was referred as the singer later commented that the audience must have through he was entirely different character in the second half of the show. Although it had four, although it had sold out performance and received positive reviews, it ran only 122 performances until September 29, 1941, with a brief revival in November of that year. In subject matter, did not make it appeal to Broadway. Ellington has unfulfilled plans to take it there. Despite the disappointment, a Broadway production of Ellington's Beggar's Holiday, his sole book musical, premiered December 23rd, 1946, under the direction of Nicholas Ray. The settlement of his first recording band 1942-1943 lead to an increase in royalties to paid to musicians has a serious effect on finance viability of the big bands, including Eillington Orchestra. His income, songwriting, untimely subsidized. Although he always spent lavishly when it drew of respected income from the orchestra operations, the band income often just covered expenses. Early post-war years. Musicians enlisted in the military and travel restrictions made tour difficult for the big bands, and dancing became subject to a new tax which continued many years, affecting the choice of club owners. By the time World War II ended, the focus of popular music was shifting towards singers crooning such as Frank Sinatra and Joe Stafford. As the cost of hiring big bands has increased, club owners now found smaller jazz groups more cost-effective. Some of Ellington's new works, such as the wordless vocals features track preceding 1946 with Kay Davis, were not going to have a similar reach a newly emerging stars. Ellington continued to his own course through his Tectron ships, while Count Basie was forced to disband his whole ensemble and work as an octet for that time. Ellington was able to tour most of Western Europe between April 6 and June 10, 1950, with the orchestra play 74 days over 77 days. During the tour, according to Sonny Greer, the newer works was not performed. Though Ellington extended composition, Harlem, 1950, was the process of being complete at this time. Ellington later presented a score to music-loving President Harry Truman. Although his time in Europe Eillington would compose the music for a stage production by Orson Welles, time, Title Time, Run in Paris, and Evening with Orson Welles in Frankfurt. The variety shows such as features newly discovered Eartha Kitt, who performed Eillington's original song Hungry Little Trouble as Helen of Troy. In 1951, Eillington suffered a significant loss of personnel. Sonny Greer, Lois Brown, and most important, Johnny Hodges left to pursue other ventures, although Greer was a permanent departee. Drummer Louis Bellson replaced Greer, and his Skin Deep was a hit for Eillington. Tenor player Paul Gassava had joined in December 1950 at the periods with Count Basie and Dizzy Gillespie and stayed for the rest of his life, while Clark Terry joined in November 1951. During the early 1950s, Eillington's career was in the low point of his style, being generally seen as outmoded, but his reputation did not suffer badly as some artists. Andre Previn said in 1952, "You know Stan Keaton can stand in front of 1,000 fiddles and 1,000 brass and make a dramatic gesture of every studio arranger can nod his head and say, 'Oh yes, it's done like this.' But Duke merely lift his finger, 3 horns make sound. And I don't know what it is." However, in 1955, 3 years into recording for Capitol, Eillington lacking a regular recording affiliation. Career revive. Eillington appeared at the Newport Jazz Festival on July 7, 1956, returned him to wider prominence and introduced him to a new generation of fans. The feature is Tremolo and Crescendo in Blue, comprised two tunes that had been in the band book since 1937, but largely forgotten until Eillington had abruptly ended the band's schedule set because of his late arrival of 4 key players. Called the Two Tunes at this time was approaching midnight, announced that 2-piece would be separated by the interlude played by tenor saxophonist Paul Gonsley. Eillington proceeded to lead the band through 2 pieces, with Gonsley's 27 chorus marathon solo whip the crowd into freezing, leading the maestro to play way beyond the curfews, despite urgent pleas from festival organizer George Wing to bring the program to an end. The concert made it international headlines with one of those 5-time magazine's cover stories dedicated to a jazz musician, and results to an album produced by George Aitken would become the bestseller LP of Eillington's career. Much of the music on the vinyl was, in effect, stimulating, with only 40% actually from the concert itself. According to Aitken, Eillington was dissatisfied with the aspects of the performance and he felt musicians had been under-rehearsed. The band assembled the next day to re-record several of the numbers with addition of artificial crowd-based noise, none of which was disclosed to purchase of the album. Not until 1999 was a concert recording properly released for its first time. The revival attention bought by Newport appearance should not surprise anyone. Johnny Hodges had returned the previous year, and Ellington Cabaret with Strayhorn has been renewed around the same year under terms most amenable to the younger. The original Eillington and Newport was first released in a new record contract with Columbia Records, which yielded several years of recording stable, maintained under producer Irving Townsend, which coached both commercial and artistic productions from Ellington. In 1957, Columbia Records parent corporation aired a television production of A Drum is a Woman, a legendary suite which received mixed reviews. His hope that television would provide a significant new outlet for his type of jazz was not fulfilled. Taste and trend has moved on without him. Festivals appearance at the New Monterey Jazz Festival and elsewhere provided venues for live exposure, and the European tour in 1958 was well received. Such Sweet Thunder, 1957, based on the Shakespeare play and characters, and the Sweet Soup in 1958, dedicated to Britain Queen Elizabeth II, were produced in a renewed impetus, which the Newport appearance helped to create, although the latter work was not commercially issued at the time. The late 1950 also saw Ella Fitzgerald record her Duke Ellington songbook Verb with Ellington and his orchestra, a recognition that Ellington's songs had now become part of the cultural canon, known as the Great American Songbook. Around this time, Ellington and Strayhorn began to work on film soundtracks. Scoring the first of these was Anatomy of a Murder in 1959, a courtroom drama directed by Otto Preminger, featured James Stewart, in which Ellington appeared in the fronting a Row House combo. This was followed by Paris Blues, 1961, which featured Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier as jazz musicians. In 2009, Detroit Free Press music critic Mark Stryker wrote that Ellington Strayhorn works at the time of murder is visible, although too sketchy to rank its top echo among Ellington Strayhorn masterpiece suite like such Sweet Sunday and Far East Suite. But most inspiring moment are they equals. Film Historica has recognized the soundtrack as a landmark first significant Hollywood film music by African American comprised of non-digest music, that is, music whose source was not visible or implied by action in the film, like on Screen Band. The score for the cultural stereotype which previously categorized jazz scores and reject a strict adherence to visuals in ways that patches the new wave cinema in the 60s. Ellington and Strayhorn also looked for new musicians territory produced such for John Steinbeck novel Sweet Sunday and Tallahassee Nutcracker Suite, Edward Grieg, Peter Guy. In the early 1960s, thank you, John Brooks, very much appreciated. Anybody that wants to donate, the link is in the chat. Got a PayPal, so anybody want to donate, feel free. If not, Hit the like button. Thank you. In the early 1960s, Ellington embraced recording with artists who had been friendly rivals in the past and were younger musicians who forced on later styles. The Ellingtons and Count Basie orchestras recorded together with the album First Time the Count Meet the Duke, 1961. During the period Ellington was between recording contests, he made records with Louis Armstrong, Roulette, that's labeled Coleman Hawkins and John Coltrane. Both were in post, and I did a live stream of John Coltrane too about 2 weeks ago. It's with Charles Mingus. Also, I did a stream on that, and Max Roach, which produced Money Jungle United Artists album. He signed with Frank Sinatra U Reprise label, but the association with the label was short-lived. Musicians who previously worked with Ellington returned to the orchestra as members: Lawrence Brown in 1960 and Cootie Williams in 1962. The writing and playing music was the matter of intent. You just can't throw a paintbrush against the wall and call it whatever it happens. Art. My music fits tone, personality of the player. I think too strongly in terms of altering my music to fit the performer to be impressed by accidental music. You can't take dueling seriously. He was now performing all over the world, a significant part of each year spending overseas tours. As a consequence, he formed dual working relationships with artists from around the world, including Swedish vocalist Alice Bay and South African musician Dalla Brand and Shatima Bay Benjamin. A Morning in Paris, 1963, and then it reissued 1997. Ellington wrote original scores by directing Michael Lang, production of Shakespeare, Timon of Athens at the Stratford Festival in Ontario, Canada, which opened July 29, 1963. Lanham has used for several subsequent productions, including much later adopted by Stanley Silverman, which expands the score with some of Ellington's best known works. Ellington was shortlisted for the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 1970, but no prize was timely awarded that year. Then, 66 years old, he joked, Fats is being kind to me. Fats doesn't want me to be famous too young. In 1999, he was posthumously awarded the Special Pulitzer Award, commemorating the centennial year of his birth in recognition of his musical genius, which evolved adequately the principles of democratic through the medium of jazz, and thus an indelible contribution to art and culture. In September 1965, he premiered the first of his sacred concerts. He created Jazz Christian Luxury. 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 Although the works received mixed reviews, Ellington was proud of the composition and performed it dozens of times. This concert was followed by two others the same year. This concert was followed by two others the same type in 1968 and 1973, known as the second and third sacred concerts. These generated controversies in which It was already a tumultuous time in the United States. Many saw the sacred music suite as an attempt to reinforce commercial support for organized religion through Ellington. Simply, it was the most important thing I'd done. The Steinway piano, upon which the sacred concerts were composed, as part of the collection of Smithsonian National Museum of American History, like Haydn and Mozart. Ellington conducted his orchestra from the piano. He always played the keyboard parts where the sacred concert was performed. Duke turned 65 in the spring of 1964, but showed up no signs of slowing down as he continued to make vital innovations. Oh, Ryan Clark, what's good, fam? What's good? Hold on, let me put. I forgot to put this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now the ones who come in late, you can always press that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Get the lights. I really appreciate that. Let's get back to this. Duke turned 65 in the spring. I'm not 64, but slow, no signs slowing down as he continued to make vital and innovative recordings, including the Far East Suite 1966, the New Orleans Suite 1970, Latin American Suite 1972, and the Afro Uazan Eclipse 1971. Much of this inspired by his world tours. It was during this time he recorded only one album with Frank Sinatra entitled Francis A. and Edward K. 1967. Ellington performed was considered his final full concert in a ballroom at Northern Illinois University on March 20th, 1974. His last three shows Ellington made his orchestra perform was one of March 21st, 1973 at Purdue University Halls of Music, and two on March 22nd, 1973 at the Shrews Young Auditorium in Shrews, Michigan. Ellington married his high school sweetheart, Edna Thompson, each passed on July 2nd, 1918, when he was 19. The next spring, on March 11th, 1919, gave birth to their only son, Mercer Kennedy Ellington. Ellington was joined in New York City by his wife and son in the late 20s, but couple soon permanently separated. According to a obituary in Jet magazine, she was homesick for Washington and returned. In 1927, Ellington became companion with Mildred Dixon, who traveled with him, managed tempo music, inspired songs at the peak of his career, and raised his son Mercer. In 1938, he left his family. His son was 19 and moved with the Beatrice Evil Ellis, a Cotton Club employee. Their relationship through stormy continued after Ellington met form a relationship with Famata de Castro Monte in the early 1960s. Ellington supported both women for the rest of his life. Ellington's sister, Ruth, she, born 1915, died in 2004. Later ran Temple Music, his music publishing company. Ruth's second husband was bass baritone McCary Bookright. whom she met when she sang at her brother's funeral. As an adult, son Mercer Ellington, he passed away in 1996, played trumpet and piano and led his own band and worked his father business manager. Eillington was a member of Phi Alpha and was a Freemason associated with Prince Hall um, Freemasons. Wow. So it goes to show that he did a lot, and he don't still don't get the credit that he deserves. And so the ones who came late, um, please go back and check out the story, because a lot of young people do not know. A lot of people do not know um, about this great man, Edward Kennedy Duke Ellington. And he's one of the greats. He had to withstand of different times because at that time they did not believe in his compositions, and he pressed through. And also it goes to show he even got robbed, but he stand up and make sure that he be well respected. And when his right in 1939, when Billy Strayhorn came in, he took off. Um, so he's great, one of my heroes, and we need to pay homage to him. I put the link right there, so anybody that wants to donate, feel free. If not, hit the like button. That'd be very much appreciated. And it's a lot. I know that you said, man, he did a lot. I know it's a lot. I know the story. His life was a lot, but I just want y'all to learn this and to appreciate that he was part of this fusion of jazz to move in to popular music. Yeah, yeah. I think I did one of Miles Davis, Monique, maybe like 2 years ago, like 3 years ago. I think I did some Miles Davis, but I pop thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do with Miles Davis. But also I think the next one I'm gonna do of his right hand composer, Billy Strayhorn. And I think I did one of Miles Davis not too long ago. But yeah, I'm gonna do Miles Davis. But I think the next one I'm gonna do Billy Strayhorn. Now, if I would have done this like maybe seven, I would have came back with another one of Billy Strayhorn. Now, Billy Strayhorn, that's another one. I'm not gonna get into that, but I think most likely the next one I would do a Billy Strayhorn. I know it's late. I want to thank everybody that made time for me to learn about this jazz innovator, another jazz innovator that helps shape popular music. He one of the few ones that started longer composition compositions. Um, he composed his one of the songs in his head. So I want to thank the ones who listen. Let's get them likes up, please. Very much appreciated. Oh, Monique Hill. I did John Coltrane. I did him. I believe beginning of the year. Go to my channel. Look out for. I did John Coltrane. I did Charles Mingus. I did Birdman. Yeah, I did. So you just go. Yeah, go to it. Yeah, go to it. It's there. It's in the channel. I did John Coltrane. Right. Check it out. Thank you, Monique Hill. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody. Yeah, thank you. Anybody that wants to donate, here's the link is in there. My PayPal account. Um Thank you, Rainy Woman. I appreciate that. So thanks again, everybody. I'm going to end this, and I'm most likely gonna be up for a while. Maybe check out somebody lives and stuff. I don't know. I'll probably go sleep. I don't know. It depends. Who knows? I might come with another one. But anyway, thanks for joining, and I'm gonna hug you back. Don't I got you? You feel my hug from New York? From originally from New York. Now rest in Virginia. Here's my hug. Do you feel my hug, Monique? You feel my hug? Let me know. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate the compliments. Appreciate that. Yeah, Callie in the house. Callie in the house. All right. On that note, um, I appreciate that. So the ones who came late after this rewind and all the process, go back. It's just a lot of information, but you will enjoy it. Again, thank you so much. Until next time tomorrow, I don't know. I'm gonna have a fellowship. I usually have a fellowship. Um, Fellowship dinner and dessert live. I don't know tomorrow. I really don't. I usually have it to early night. I don't know. It really depends. But if I am, I will let you know. Okay. So, of that note, thank you a lot, family. Appreciate that. This one is Ghost.